Well, there's a shocking new report revealing how Iran has enriched itself from President Obama's nuclear deal. Wall Street Journal is reporting that Iran, listen to this, has received more than $10 billion in cash and gold and unfrozen oil money from countries around the world. And that's that's $10 billion on top of the $1.7 billion in cash that the Obama administration airlifted in the middle of the night to Iran as 4 American hostages were released. So lawmakers are now getting concerned about Iran could use that liquid funds to fund Assad regime in Syria, Hezbollah, the Houthi rebels in Yemen. It's a mess. Joining me now, Forbes media chairman and editor-in-chief, Steve Forbes. And Happy New Year, young man.
Thank you for those words, young man.
Hopefully have a happy New Year. This is a mess. It really is a mess. This transition is not going smoothly. Donald Trump is taking the high road, but it's not going smoothly at all.
Well, the transition itself is going smoothly, and what I think really burns Obama is the fact that Trump is effectively de facto president. You saw that with Russia's response to the expelling of 35 diplomats. Everyone thought they'd expel 35. Putin says, Obama's not worth worrying about anymore. I'll deal with Trump. And so on the Iran thing, that revelation, the nice thing about that, how high those numbers are, they're still owed $100 billion. We can stop that money going from Iran. And the fact that it's going in cash and gold tells you that money's being used for bad things. What are we thinking?
Yeah, and that's going back to a decision. But people don't realize that had to deal with money regarding the Shah of Iran. And that regime is gone and over. I don't understand why we even would give them a penny at this point.
Well, you know what it is. Ransom for those 4 American hostages.
Yes.
And so
they wouldn't say that. They'd refuse to acknowledge that, but that's what it is.
Oh, just a coincidence that crates with $1.7 billion happens to go to Iran and 4 Americans are released. Just a coincidence.
And one of the hostages even saying we had to wait until the plane with the money.
As they said in the old Soviet Union,
yeah.
There are no coincidences, comrade.
So with the Soviet Union business, at some point, because you see people on both sides of the aisle saying, absolutely, you can't have a foreign government hacking into our systems. But they've been doing it for a long time. Everybody in the intelligence community says it's been going on for decades. Nothing's been done about it. What should be done about it?
Well, it starts, say, with China breaking into those personnel records at the Office of Personnel and Management. Absolutely shocking. And this is why we're in the mess we're in today, Tom. The administration has been passive against every kind of transgression. So one of the key things Donald Trump's going to have to do is the South China Sea. The Chinese now believe they have that control, that that's their territory, even though it has no international standing. Putin did what he did in Europe because he could. He did what he did in the Middle East because he could. And so if there are no consequences to behavior that is bad, you're going to get more bad behavior. Well, and the amazing thing is about Trump, when Putin started talking about modernizing their nuclear weapons,
right.
Trump puts up a tweet, that's a new thing, that says, oh, we'll meet any race, or we'll beat anyone who tries to catch up to us. Boom, done.
Again, that go back, it was mentioned earlier, that's the Reagan document of basically a peace through strength. You want to have 5 missiles, I'll see your 5 and give you 10 more.
So with dealing with Putin, what people forget is Trump is an alpha male. If you diss him, he will retaliate. He's not going to be a pussycat. He's not going to draw phony lines in the sand.
No, he's not. But at the same time, he has made a lot of promises in his campaign, and he genuinely wants to take care of a lot of domestic issues. The veterans, immigration, the economy, jobs, coal miners, you name it. The list goes on and on and on. Meantime, all of this international havoc is going on. He's going to have a large plate full. You think he'll be able to focus on the domestic?
Follow the example of Ronald Reagan. We were in a reverse mess back in 1980-81 with the Soviet Union on a rampage, having just invaded Afghanistan. And Reagan realized if you don't have a strong domestic economy, everything else goes by the board. So one of the things that Trump, I hope, does is lead with in addition to getting rid of some of these crazy regulations, is lead with a strong across-the-board tax cut. Ignore the eye shade people who tell you you can't do it, that doesn't score, blah, blah, blah. Ignore it. get this economy moving, then you're going to have the wealth and the perception America's on the move again, because one of the things is the Russians and the Chinese believe we are a declining nation, just as they did 35 years ago when Reagan took office. Got to disabuse them of it.
As we know from history, not a bullet was fired and the Soviet Union collapsed because of our economic strength.
Absolutely.
Steve Forbes, good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you, Tom.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Thank you. You too.